The Martian sunrise bled across the ochre plains, casting an ethereal glow through the sterile windows of the outpost infirmary. Alex Thompson winced as he shifted on the examination table, his shoulder still throbbing from the alien energy blast. He felt like a character ripped straight out of a sci-fi pulp novel. Yet here he was, the living embodiment of impossible fiction. Olivia Walker, her face etched with concern despite her usual steely demeanor, sat vigil by his side. Memories of the previous night flickered through his mind. The shimmering alien ship, the booming telepathic voice, and the enigmatic Sananda who seemed to hold the answers to a universe they never knew existed. Descendants of gods, Alex muttered, shaking his head with a disbelieving chuckle. Sounds like something out of one of your ancient Earth myths, Liv. Olivia sighed, the sound heavy with the weight of the unknown. I hear you, Alex, but that ship, that energy, it wasn't exactly Earth technology. A chime from the medical console broke the contemplative silence. Dr. Reyes, the outpost's jovial head physician, bustled in, a datapad clutched in his hand. His usual grin was replaced by a furrowed brow. Ah, our star patients. Feeling any better, Alex? A little stiff, but otherwise okay. Thanks, Doc, Alex replied, forcing a smile. Dr. Reyes chuckled, the sound lacking its usual warmth. Good, now, about last night, those readings you mentioned, Alex, the ones from the canal sample, they were indeed unusual. He tapped the datapad, a holographic image flickering to life above the examination table. It displayed a complex genetic structure, glowing with streaks of an otherworldly blue. See this? Dr. Reyes pointed to the blue sections. It's an anomaly, genetic code unlike anything we've ever encountered, but it resonates with something else. He flicked the image to another display, showing a magnified image of a DNA strand from Alex's medical file. Highlighted sections glowed a faint blue, mirroring the anomaly in the canal sample. Olivia's eyes widened in realization. Are you saying... There's a possibility, Dr. Reyes said cautiously, that the anomaly in the canal and the unique elements in your DNA, Alex, might be connected. Alex stared at the holographic displays, a chilling realization dawning on him. Could Sananda be right? Could the strange symbols, the echo of forgotten knowledge he'd felt, could they all be tied to his very genetic makeup? Suddenly, the holographic display flickered, morphing from the medical data to reveal Sananda's weathered face. His voice boomed through the room, filling it with an otherworldly power. Alex, Olivia, he greeted, I trust you are recovering well. Alex scrambled to his feet, a mixture of apprehension and awe churning in his gut. Sananda, how... My apologies, Sananda interrupted gently. I needed to speak with you both privately. There is much to explain. The room's sterile atmosphere seemed to shift, the air crackling with unspoken energy. For the next hour, Sananda wove a tale that stretched across eons. He spoke of a time when powerful beings, the scattered gods, walked among the stars, their celestial essence granting them unparalleled power. He spoke of a great war, a celestial struggle against an entity known as the Devourer, a being of pure entropy that sought to consume all existence. The scattered gods, Sananda explained, his voice filled with an ancient tremor, used their celestial essence to weaken the Devourer, trapping it within a dimensional rift. But the effort drained them. They scattered their remaining power across the cosmos, imbuing it within the DNA of nascent life forms, hoping it would one day be needed again. He gestured towards the holographic displays. The anomaly you detected, Alex, is a fragment of that celestial essence. It resonates with your own dormant heritage, the blood of the gods flowing within you. Olivia's voice trembled as she spoke. So, the reason those aliens were looking for us... They serve the Devourer, Sananda confirmed, his voice grave. They believe that by reawakening the scattered essence within specific individuals, they can weaken the dimensional barrier and free their master. A cold dread settled over Alex. He, a simple marine biologist, a descendant of gods. The responsibility felt overwhelming. What can we do? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Sananda held his gaze, his eyes filled with 1,000 lifetimes. You are the key, Alex, Olivia. By embracing your heritage, by unlocking the dormant power within you, you can become beacons, attracting others like yourselves, other descendants scattered across the galaxy. He paused, letting his words sink in. Together, you can form a united front, a new generation of guardians. You are humanity's last hope, and perhaps the galaxy's as well. The weight of this revelation settled heavily on Alex and Olivia. Their peaceful lives on Mars were about to be irrevocably changed. The echoes in their blood, once a whisper, now called to them, urging them to embark on a journey unlike any they could have ever imagined. But how? Olivia finally asked, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. How do we unlock this dormant power? We're scientists, not superheroes. Sananda smiled faintly. Your scientific minds are a strength, Olivia. Logic and understanding will be crucial in mastering your abilities. But the power itself, it comes from within. It is a spark waiting to be ignited. He gestured towards a holographic map of the solar system that flickered to life above them. A single point pulsed with a faint blue light on the Martian surface, their location. The anomaly you found, Alex, seems to be a conduit, a weak point between this dimension and where the Devourer is imprisoned. It is here, on Mars, that you will begin your training. A wave of his hand conjured a series of holographic diagrams depicting complex energy flows, intricate symbols, and meditation techniques that defied all earthly understanding. Alex and Olivia stared in awe and confusion. This, Sananda explained, is just the beginning. It will be a demanding journey, one that will test your physical and mental fortitude. Are you ready to commit to become the guardians your blood lineage demands? Olivia glanced at Alex, her eyes reflecting 1,000 questions. He saw the fear mirrored in his own reflection, but also a flicker of determination. A spark of the hero Sananda had spoken of. We don't have much choice, do we? He said, his voice surprisingly steady. The threat of a galaxy-consuming entity was a powerful motivator. Olivia nodded, a fierce glint in her eyes. We'll do what we have to, for Mars, for humanity, for the galaxy. Sananda's smile widened. Excellent! Then your training begins now. The following weeks on Mars became a blur of activity. Sananda served as their guide, their mentor, and sometimes their drill sergeant. Days were filled with grueling physical training that pushed Alex and Olivia to their limits, their bodies growing stronger and more resilient with each passing day. Nights were spent meditating under Sananda's tutelage, attempting to access the dormant power within their genes. Their efforts were met with slow, frustrating progress. Alex experienced flashes of heightened senses, seeing further, hearing sharper. Olivia felt a growing connection to the Martian landscape, an empathy that allowed her to sense subtle tremors and energy fluctuations beneath the surface. But the ability to manipulate this power, to truly become the guardians Sananda spoke of, remained elusive. Frustration gnawed at Alex, and doubt began to creep in. Were they strong enough? Were they truly the chosen ones? One particularly frustrating night, as Alex sat slumped in meditation, Sananda placed a hand on his shoulder. Patience, young one, his voice rumbled. The power within awakens at its own pace. Do not force it. Feel it, understand it, let it flow through you. Alex closed his eyes, focusing on the faint blue luminescence that pulsed beneath his skin. He calmed his mind, pushed away doubt and fear, and let himself simply exist. A sense of peace washed over him, a connection to something vast and ancient. Then a spark. He opened his eyes to see a faint blue glow emanating from his fingertips. It wasn't much, but it was a start. A surge of elation flooded him. He was on the right track. Olivia emerged from her own meditation a short time later, a triumphant grin on her face. I did it! She exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. I can manipulate the Martian soil, create small constructs. Sananda chuckled. Excellent work, both of you. You are making progress. But remember, this power is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good or for ill. It is your choice, your responsibility to wield it wisely. The seriousness in Sananda's voice cut through their elation. The weight of their newfound abilities, the responsibility that came with them, settled heavily on their shoulders. Their journey had just begun, and the path ahead was fraught with danger. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Under Sananda's relentless tutelage, Alex and Olivia honed their newfound abilities. Alex's enhanced senses evolved into a form of limited telekinesis, allowing him to manipulate objects with his mind, albeit with limited range and power. Olivia's connection to the Martian soil deepened, allowing her to not only morph it into rudimentary shapes, but also sense vibrations and energy signatures deep within the planet's crust. Despite their progress, frustration still arose. The powers they wielded felt like mere whispers compared to the potential Sananda described. They yearned to see others like them, the scattered descendants he spoke of, to form a united front against the looming threat of the Devourer. One evening, as they sat around a crackling Martian campfire, Sananda addressed their unspoken anxieties. Patience, my students, he said, his voice filled with ancient wisdom. The time will come. The awakening of the scattered essence will send a ripple across the cosmos, a beacon that will call to others like yourselves. He pointed towards the star-dusted Martian sky. Tonight, a celestial event will occur, a rare alignment of planets that will amplify the beacon's signal. We shall use this opportunity to see if it attracts any attention. Intrigued, Alex and Olivia followed Sananda to a secluded Martian mesa, its peak offering an unobstructed view of the night sky. As the celestial alignment reached its peak, an ethereal blue light pulsed outwards from the planet, a ripple of energy visible only to those attuned to its frequency. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Disappointment threatened to engulf Alex, but then a faint flicker appeared in the distance, a speck of light moving at an impossible speed. It grew larger, revealing itself to be a sleek, silver spacecraft unlike anything they had ever seen. "It's not the ones from before," Olivia whispered, excitement tinging her voice. The alien vessel descended gracefully, landing silently on the Martian plain not far from their vantage point. A hatch hissed open, and a figure emerged, cloaked in a shimmering white robe that seemed to glow faintly in the starlight. The figure raised its head, and Alex felt a jolt of recognition. Those piercing blue eyes, that unwavering gaze. It was someone familiar. "Sananda," Olivia breathed, her voice barely a whisper. The figure chuckled, a warm sound that echoed across the Martian plains. "Not quite, my friends, but a kindred spirit nonetheless. I am Amara, and I come in peace." As Amara approached, a new chapter unfolded before them. The scattered descendants were not alone. There were others out there, warriors fighting the same fight, and perhaps with this newfound alliance, they stood a fighting chance against the Devourer's encroaching darkness. The echoes in their blood had awakened, and the call to adventure had been answered. Their destiny, once a whisper, now roared in their ears, urging them to embrace their roles as guardians and fight for the future of the galaxy.